Should the Las Vegas Raiders draft Alabama cornerback Terrion Arnold at pick 13? I want every person that comes across this video to be honest. Let me know what you chest. Type D for draft, or would you pass on him? Type P for pass. My answer coming up here in a little bit. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and Raiders rumors are heating up around the Las Vegas Raiders potentially drafting Terrion Arnold at pick number 13 in the 2024 NFL Draft. And coming up here on today's show, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to tell you why that this rumors is starting to pick up some speed, because at the end of the day, I like to make timelines. I like to see what has happened and then put my own puzzle together. And by the end of this show, I think you're going to be sitting here going, yeah, there's a realistic shot that this is the direction the silver and black go. So why am I so confident that the Raiders are definitely targeting Arnold? They could potentially draft him. Well, first off, AP went to his pro day. And the reason why that I do find that to be significant of some sorts is because there's a certain reason why certain teams decided to go to certain pro days, right? Like the fact that Caleb Williams in his pro day was one spot, and then the fact that Antonio Pierce decided, I'm going to go scout a lot of Alabama prospects. And there's no chance that the Raiders are going to get Caleb. At this point, you might as well already put a Chicago Bears jersey on him. But, like, the fact that AP took time to go find Terrion Arnold. Also, I heard Kool-Aid looked really solid. I heard J.C. Latham looked pretty damn good, too. But when you see AP talking to Terrion Arnold at his pro day, I don't know about you, it does excite me here at least a little bit. Let's go to the next reason here why I believe that it could potentially happen. AP said that finding a legit cornerback one is a priority, and I agree with him. When you look at the Raiders' defense from top to bottom, I love what we have on our defensive line right now. I've said multiple times, I think it's one of the best units in the NFL. Linebacker is still a little bit of a question mark, but, like, let's be real. You're not going to spend a lot of money. You're not going to draft a linebacker this early. Then on top of that, both your safety spots, cool. Jack Jones, Nate Hobbs, love it. To take that defense to the next level, if you're able to add a legit cornerback one, and maybe that guy is Arnold here, who had a stellar season for the Crimson Tide last season with 63 tackles, 5 interceptions, and 12 pass breakups, this would be a really, really solid get. And if it is a priority, could you potentially get him here at pick number 13? One of my favorite in the business is Lance Zierlein, and this is what he had to say on Terrion Arnold. Twitchy man cover corner, outstanding athletic ability, and the skill set to bring in ball production at the professional level. Arnold possesses average size, but plays with a desired level of aggression and competitiveness in both phases of his job. He's fast and agile to match up against a variety of receiver flavors on the outside or in the slot. Arnold could squeeze routes tighter from off coverages and limit the yards after catch with a slightly different approach. His closing burst allows him to meet throws at the catch point with a natural feel for playing angles and attacking the receiver's hands. Arnold will make mistakes with positioning and lose focus at times, but the athletic traits and nose for the ball create quality upside for him to be positioned as a cornerback one with a couple of years. So the way that I look at that is, to me, Antonio Pierce, Patrick Graham, I believe in those guys through and through. And if there's one set of coaches that I think could really get the most out of a player that sometimes lacks awareness, or, you know, you got to be in it 110%, is a coach that last season had 2 games where his team did not commit a single penalty. Like, that is the level of you're locked in to a whole nother level. And if Terrion Arnold combines his athletic ability with the coaching staff of AP, with the coaching staff of Patrick Graham, I think sky's the limit for this young man right here. I know this also, we will be live for the NFL Draft, so make sure that you guys are subscribed here to the Raiders Report. We're going to be getting picks before you see them on TV, and hopefully, I've been waiting for a long time, and I'm not jinxing. I'm really going to try not to jinx it. I have been waiting to celebrate a first-round pick in a long time on this show, and I am hoping that it ends up happening this year. If you also are looking for just daily Raiders content, I got you covered. And if you want to know everything going on around the NFL Draft and everything going on around the Raiders and their draft strategies, hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications. I promise you, we got you covered here on the Raiders Report. All right, let's keep it moving here on the show. We're discussing Terrion Arnold and the possibility of the Raiders potentially taking him at pick number 13 overall. Another reason is the Raiders met with him at the Combine, and the meeting at the Combine went really well. And when you consider the fact of what types of players Antonio Pierce is potentially looking for, I think Arnold checks that box. Our team went to the Combine, and we got this interview here from the Alabama corner.
Have I had a chance to meet who? Yes, sir. He's a guy full of energy, man. When I walked in the room, he was like, "Are you an energetic person?" I was like, "You know I am, man. Cut on the tape." He was like, "Man, I like you already." So, I mean, it went very well.
I like confidence. I like swagger. And to me, this is a football team that looks for all those traits on top of the fact that it's a need, on top of the fact that he just gives me Raider vibes. And when you give me Raider vibes right away, I feel like my vibe Raider, right? Those are the type of players that this team is trying to bring in here. And per sources, Antonio Pierce really likes Terrion Arnold. And I'm not even trying to flex. Like, this is more of a, if you don't already know that Antonio Pierce is interested in Terrion Arnold, then you have not been paying attention. However, over the past 24 hours, somebody reached out to me and said, I'm telling you right now, this is somebody that you have to keep in mind, hence why I'm making the video on it. Next reason here is this. He is a great fit with Patrick Graham and Antonio Pierce. Not only does he have that mindset of, that's one of those players like that gives me the Max Crosby vibes. That gives me the mindset of the Jack Jones where, yeah, you can talk the talk, but you better be able to back it up. And I think Arnold's going to be able to do that. On top of that, it is a need. And he's going to be able to fit into our defense. He needs to fit into our defense because Brandon Facyson, oh, man, that makes me super nervous. To me, that is your biggest weakness right now on your starting defense. And if you're able to replace that with Arnold, who sounds like everything that I'm looking for in a cornerback. I mean, hell, this is what Arnold had to say at the Combine. When I'm on the field, honestly, on defense, I feel like I could play any position, especially any position in the secondary. So, with that being said, when I line up in the slot, I know I'm kind of like an outside linebacker. I have to feel the run, I have to set the edges, take on blocks, and I have to cover. That mindset for a corner to say those things, I get it. Actions speak louder than words. But when you turn on the tape, he does that. And if you're finding a dude that is able to play corner, that has the ability to play up close to the line of scrimmage, and one of the things that Antonio Pierce and this regime has kind of noted that is they want a guy that's not afraid to go up to the line of scrimmage, and then that gives them more versatility on the back end. And if you can fit all of those things, versatility is key in the NFL. It's especially key with Patrick Graham. All right, we got some more reasons here of why I think the rumors are starting to heat up here around the Raiders potentially taking cornerback from Alabama, Terrion Arnold. But if you don't already know, I want y'all to be able to interact with Jeremy Chuggs and I on social media. If you don't know, I am literally at Mitchell Renz 365 everywhere, Instagram, Twitter. Y'all hopefully know where to find me. But you know what? I also want you guys to start interacting with Chuggs as well on social media. He's at Twitter, at Jeremy Chuggs, and then he's on IG at Jeremy_Chuggs. If you can't find him, that's on you. I also have the links for our social media down in the comments and in the description of today's show. Let's go to the last reason here. The Raiders are confident in Thayer Munford. Now, some of you are like, well, wait a minute, Mitch. We just took a total left turn. Where are we at right now? Hear me out. What the Raiders think about Thayer Munford, to me personally, is a big reason of what they could potentially do at pick number 13. I spoke with Thayer Munford on Thursday, and he told me that he's going to be playing offensive tackle this season. He said he'd be open to playing left tackle, he'd be open to playing right tackle, but that's basically what he's heard so far. And I have sat up here in the show, and I believe that Munford can be a good player. I also think that he could potentially play guard if it was up to me. It's not up to me. But when you think about this, if the Raiders do truly believe that Munford is a starting right tackle in the National Football League, doesn't that make corner a little bit of a bigger need than right tackle? Because they need a cornerback one. They don't need a right tackle. And if the Raiders aren't looking for an offensive tackle at pick 13, then I do think that their attention could turn to the cornerback position a little bit more. Like, when you think about all the rumors that have happened this offseason, consider the fact of how many rumors we've heard at the cornerback position compared to how many rumors we've heard at the offensive tackle spot. If the Raiders are locked in on Munford being the right tackle, I've done a lot of mock drafts myself where I'm taking J.C. Latham, Talisi Fuaga, a guy like Olu Fashanu, Joe Alt. But if the Raiders don't ever think that that's a need and corner is a bigger need, then maybe they're not even going to look at the offensive tackle position, which that to me says better chance of taking Terrion Arnold. So be real with me here. I want to know, scale it from 1 to 10. What is your confidence level in Thayer Munford? Be legit with me. To me, if you're saying 1 to 5 in that area, then if you have a top offensive tackle on the board at 13, you should probably take him. If you're in the 6 to 10 range on Munford, I would say then maybe you shouldn't look at it taking an offensive tackle unless there's a guy that you absolutely love, but corner is the bigger need. Personally, for me, my take on Munford and my confidence level on him, based on what I know right now, is I'm going to put him at a 6. And Munford, to me, was one of those players last season that the more and more work that he got better and better. I'll admit, I thought he looked better on the left side than he did on the right side personally, but this was a player that I liked quite a bit when the Raiders drafted him. We had around 4 or 5 grade here at Chat Sports, and he did struggle as a rookie. Struggled a little bit as a sophomore on top of that. But the other part that is very, very important to this equation and can really change my confidence level in Munford is what the hell are the Raiders going to do at right guard? Because I know right now it says DJ Fluker. Spoiler alert, it's not going to be Fluker. Like, I'd almost rather you don't even have somebody right there and it can be a mystery box at right guard. And because of that, I have a confidence level in 6. If you're telling me right now that Fluker is going to be the Raiders' starting right guard this upcoming season, my confidence in Munford goes down because that's more responsibility on his plate on the right side. If you were to tell me that Dylan Parham would be the right guard or the Raiders were to sign another guard in free agency, then my confidence level in Munford might go up here a little bit. Bottom line, depending on how confident the Raiders are in Munford, could really determine what they do here at pick number 13. So one more time here, this is why I believe that the Raiders rumors are starting to heat up around why the Silver and Black could potentially target Terrion Arnold, who continues to just skyrocket up draft boards, and these are the 5 reasons. Pierce went to his pro day. They won a cornerback 1. They met at the combine. I think he'd be a great fit with Patrick Graham and Antonio Pierce, and they sounds like that they have a lot of confidence in Thayer Munford. If you were to ask me, Mitch, put your chips on the table, who do you think is the most likely player that the Raiders pick at number 13? I'm going to say Terrion Arnold.